Hillary Clinton set to testify before the Benghazi committee on Thursday. Is this a bigger threat to Hillary or the Republicans who could be accused of making this all about politics? Then Donald Trump versus Jeb Bush again, this time squabbling over 9/11 as the Donald says he could have prevented it and George W. wasn't able to stop it. Also, Joe Biden expected to announce whether he's running for president by tomorrow at the latest. We'll discuss whether he will in fact run and debate whether he should run. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we're going to begin with a preview of what will be the most watched moment in Washington, at least this week. Now, on Thursday, Democratic frontrunner and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton back before Congress, testifying again before the Benghazi committee. And we know her email will also be on the agenda, thanks in large part to this comment from the number 2 Republican in the House just a couple weeks ago.
Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, right? But we put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee. What are her numbers today? Her numbers are dropping.
Well, that comment and the fallout from it added extra attention to the Thursday hearing and to the committee's top Republican and Democrat who traded barbs on the Sunday morning political shows.
I have told my own Republican colleagues and friends, shut up talking about things that you don't know anything about. And unless you're on the committee, you have no idea what we've done, why we've done it, and what new facts we have found.
Is this a sham on Thursday?
I think it's a sad day for all of us because we made a commitment to the families. The families came in with tears in their eyes, literally, and said, please do not make this a political football. That's exactly what's happened.
We don't have all the emails, and the State Department will concede that. But at a certain point, you have to go ahead and call the witness.
All right.
So, no, we're still missing large tranches of information from the executive branch.
Okay, so among the questions we're going to get into now is who's got more to lose here on Thursday? And before you answer, remember how Hillary handled the last go-around with the committee members, this time when she appeared before Congress on the very same subject.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator.
All right, let's bring in our panel and see what they have to say. Dominic Carter, political journalist and author. Evan Siegfried, he's a Republican strategist and president of SOM Consulting. And Andrew Whitman, our senior political correspondent. Guys, thank you for joining me. All right, Dom, I start with you. We kind of have an idea how this is going to go. All the protest stations aside, this is not about politics. Of course it's about politics, okay? Everybody's got something to lose. I don't know how much they've got to win, but who's got to be more careful they don't overplay their hand on Thursday?
Right now, the committee members, by far, it's not even close. Starting with McCarthy and company, they have made mistakes exposing their hand. And so no matter what they say or do at this point, it looks like pure partisan politics. Hillary Clinton has shown us that whether you like her or dislike her, she knows how to handle these situations. After her strong debate performance, this is going to be my prediction, almost a walk in the park for her.
You agree in that been there, done that kind of with this, unless there's a smoking gun? And we saw the back and forth with Congressman Cummings, and Gowdy on the Sunday shows. Cummings went even further than that clip that we said. He said they had the intelligence officials who went there and said, there is no, smoking gun. There is no direct connection as much as people would love to say there is. And what Gowdy's telling you right now, or Cummings at least claimed, is fictitious. He's making this stuff up as he's going along. Do Republicans have to be more careful, or could Hillary be in a lot of trouble when these hearings are over?
Let's face this, the Republicans in the House are not currently under federal investigation for having their own private email server, which they wiped and probably violated the Espionage Act in using it. And let's go to what McCarthy said. It was a very inartful statement. But Congressman McCarthy said that Hillary's numbers because of this committee have gone down. And that's kind of true in that you've got Without this committee, we would not have found out about these emails and how the interior of Clinton Incorporated works. They've found that Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin have been able to do positions in the private sector for positions that wound up lobbying around the same time, the United States government, and it opens up a whole can of worms.
To his point, though, we were promised this Thursday, as I understand, Andrew, was going to be about Benghazi, right? And we already saw Huma Abedin testified, I think, for 8 hours or something, and those were about the emails. So which one is it? Is it going to have to be one or the other? I mean, the thing about McCarthy that got him in trouble wasn't whether or not the numbers went down. It's that, what was your agenda? Was your agenda here to hurt her politically, or was it to get to the bottom of stuff?
I think we're going to hear both from Republicans who are asking questions of Hillary on Thursday, and then publicly we're going to come out and say, no, but we're only asking about the emails because it all folds into Benghazi. And frankly, I think there's a real danger in overplaying the Republican hands. It almost feels like the GOP can't seem to figure out a way to knock down Hillary on the campaign trail, so they're just going to do it from Congress and in the hearing room instead. And I think there's a real danger of both overplaying their hand and letting Hillary say, going back to the right-wing conspiracy that she's been talking about for 30 years.
For me, I also looked at the guys in the committee. All due respect to Gowdy, this guy ain't ready for prime time. And even McCarthy, you know, we saw how he kind of sunk his candidacy for speakership. I'm looking for the person on the committee who's going to be able to use his or her 5 minutes as efficiently as possible. I don't see somebody tripping her up. That's the other thing about this. If we strip it away here, this isn't some fact-finding thing. This is about politics. Can you take her down or not? Is she going to fumble or not? You need the right messenger to go after this, and I'm just not convinced you got heavyweights in that committee that can do it. Plus, as people probably know, every time somebody goes for 5 minutes, somebody on the other side gets the 5 minutes to redeflect it and go in another direction. So, you know, if this is about theater, I just know who plays the lead on the right.
Well, even if it's about theater, and I think we can make that assumption, playing to the camera, but you've got, if you will, a lead person here in terms of Hillary Clinton. When's the last time you've seen someone trip her up at a hearing? It doesn't happen. She's had, it's going to be now 9 days since the actual debate and before she testifies before this committee. I just don't see it. I agree with you, Richard. I don't see it happening. And if anything, what we're going to get is like what we're looking at right now, where she's going to effectively hit the ball out the park with anything she's asked and spin it and make it play to her favor.
This issue hasn't helped her, certainly. More so, I think, the emails and the question about the server, because it's a dense subject. Depending on who you talk to and whose political agendas, people will say Powell did the same thing. On the other one, they'll say that this is sedition and treason or whatever. So I totally acknowledge that this certainly has hurt her. How much, I'm not sure. But again here, I'm just not sure what they're trying to get at that's going to feed the public narrative on this and what doesn't come off as political opportunism. Because I can just tell you, people are getting tired of talking about servers. Whether they should or they shouldn't, the public's like, all right, I was interested before, I'm starting to lose attention to this. You acknowledge this isn't an easy subject. You can do
it's
it
a very complex subject.
And because it's dense and the public's aptitude or at least interest in digging deep here, I think we've almost exhausted this, fairly or not.
I would actually counter and say that a poll last week from Fox News found that 68% of the American public believe we need to find more answers as to what happened with this email problem.
But here's the number you're going to hear. They spawned 4.5 million already, just the Benghazi hearings, right? And they're going to say, what has it proven? What have we gotten in terms of material evidence? You know how these things go. Whenever there's investigations, at the end of the day, you start hearing how many meetings they've had, how much dollars they've spent, and how much return there's been. That's the next leg to this story. We've covered enough of these here. You know how this goes. At a certain point, they're going to say, what's my ROI? Where's my return on investment? Where's the there?
I think it's much more an issue of the FBI. The House is going to go out and spend money how it chooses to spend money. I personally am not going to criticize them on that when they're, but you can, the FBI, how they're spending the money and what are they looking into, and that's the more serious investigation.
They're not holding the hearing on Thursday.
Right. No.
And if there's going to be something that's going to puncture Clinton at this point, it's going to have to be a bombshell. And if there's a bombshell, I mean, she's not going to trip herself up.
And Gowdy's already acknowledged
it's going to have to be a bombshell, and I can't imagine that there's one coming, and not from the House committee on Thursday.
We're forgetting a very key player here that's going to be on Thursday, the American public, who are going to be watching. And they have this view of Hillary Clinton as a dishonest, sort of will say whatever she can thing. And while she might be able to hit it out of the park, as you put it, Dominic, that would be with the committee. the public is going to see it, and they're going to see non-answers.
You
and
do
sort of
acknowledge the
pivoting,
last time we
changing
saw this
excuses.
play, this last Benghazi hearings, certainly didn't hurt her. Now, on top of this, what are we going to talk about? We're going to be talking about government shutdowns. We're going to be talking about deadlines with budgets and the rest. And people are going to say, get off your you-know-what's, Congress. Get something done here and stop doing hearings on Benghazi or whatever else. Figure out a way to keep the government open. That's going to be the next threat. We've all done this. We know we can almost write the storylines for this. To me, it'll be interesting how this plays out. But one thing you can always rely on Donald Trump. He keeps things interesting on the campaign trail. Now, when we come back, he picked another fight, this time with Jeb Bush. But this time, he's not just saying that Jeb may not be ready for prime time. He's going after Jeb's family, and Jeb's not backing down. In fact, fighting back and defending his own brother against Trump's criticism about the 9/11 attacks and where responsibility lays.